To sum up the meditative process, you have to break the habit of being yourself and reinvent a new self. Lose your mind and create a new one. Prune synaptic connections and nurture new ones. Unmemorize past emotions and recondition the body to a new mind and emotions. Let go of the past and create a new future. Let's look like let's look a bit more closely at a few elements in the process. Obviously, to avoid letting any thought or feeling you don't want to express get past you unchecked, you have to develop powerful skills of observation and focus. We humans have a limited ability to focus and absorb input, but we can be much better than we normally are in our more unconscious state. Let's break down the habit of being yourself. You would be wise to select one trait, propensity, or characteristic and focus your attention on that single aspect of your old self you want to change. For example, you might be asking yourself, when I feel angry, what are my thought patterns? What do I say to others and myself? How do I act? What other emotions spring forth from being angry? What does anger feel like in my body? How can I become more conscious of what triggers my anger and how I can change my reaction? This entire book, it's basically just that, a manual of using meditation to make changes in ourselves. The process of change requires unlearning first, then learning. The latter is a function of firing and wiring in the brain. The former means circuits are trimmed. When you stop thinking in the same way, you inhibit your habituations and interrupt those emotional addictions till the old self begins to neurologically be pruned away. And if every connection between nerve cells constitutes a memory, then as those circuits are dismantled, memories of your old self will go with them. When you think about your former life, who you used to be, and what it would, another life, what it will be like another lifetime, where are those memories now stored? They will be given to the soul as wisdom. When those thoughts or feelings that used to signal the body stopped by your conscious efforts, and liberated energy from those limited emotions is released into the field, you now have energy in which to design new and create a new destiny. There's an interesting graph that he has. There's a lot of these types of uh, illustrations throughout the book. This one's breaking down examples of familiar past and new future. On the left it says unlearning, on the right it says relearning. On the left it says breaking the habit of being yourself. On the right it says reinventing a new self. On the left it says pruning synaptic connections. On the right it says sprouting new connections. On the left it says unfiring and unwiring. And on the right it says firing and wiring. Unmemorizing an emotion of the body, reconditioning the body to a new mind emotion, losing your mind, creating a new one, becoming familiar with the old self, becoming familiar with the new self, deprogramming, reprogramming, living in the past, creating a new future, old energy, new energy. When we use meditation as means to change, when we become conscious and unaware, familiar with what and willing to do what is necessary to eradicate the undesirable trait and cultivate a desired one, we're doing what mystics have been doing for centuries. Although I take a clearly biological approach to change, so did the mystics. They just used different terminology to describe the process. The end result is the same: breaking the addiction to the body, the environment, and the time. Only when we make that separation can we change. Only when we think greater than the big three can we truly live independent of them and reestablish dominion over how we think and feel on a daily basis. For too long, we've been running unconscious programs that have been controlling us. Meditation allows us to reassert control. Awareness comes first, recognizing when, how those program responses take over is essential. When you move from the unconscious to the conscious and begin to close the gap between how you appear and how you are. This whole book is just straight stuff that you can take and apply in your life daily. This is part of what has continued to help me um, not drink. So and then also using meditation just to make more positive changes in my life. Um, I've been following Joe Dispenza a couple of years now. If you guys check him out on YouTube, you can see all of his stuff. But this is solid. If you go to the channel notes and you want to learn more about the Freedom Seekers program, there's a link to the calendar. You can go ahead and sign up. Okay. The ways of your future. Since knowledge is, as we've seen, the precursor to experience, having a basic understanding of what happens in the brain during meditation will serve you well when you begin to learn and experience the meditative process coming up shortly in part 3. You probably know that the brain is electrochemical in nature. When nerve cells fire, they exchange charged elements that then produce electromagnetic fields. Because the brain's diverse electrical activity can be measured, these effects can provide important information about what we're thinking, feeling, learning, and dreaming, and creating, and how we are processing information. The most common technology scientists use to record the brain's changing electrical activity is electrosynophiograph, EEG. Research has discovered a wide scope of brain wave frequencies in humans, ranging from very low levels of activity found in deep sleep, delta waves, to a twilight state between deep sleep and wakefulness, theta, to the creative imaginative state, alpha, to higher frequencies seen during conscious thought, beta waves, to the highest frequencies recorded, gamma waves, seen in elevated states of consciousness. To help you better understand your journey into meditation, I'm going to give you an overview of how each of these states relates to you. Once you know what all of these domains are, you will be more adept at knowing when you're in brainwave state, when the ego tries to change the ego. God knows we've all been there. And when you're in the brainwave state, that is the fertile ground of the future of the true change. As children grow, the frequencies that predominate in their brains progress from delta to theta to alpha, then to beta. Our job in meditation is to become like a child, moving from beta to alpha to theta for the adept or mystic delta. So understanding the progression of brainwave changes during human development can help demystify the process of how we experience meditation. It's key.